This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Tonight on The South Today, a 12-truck convoy moved hundreds of tonnes of vintage machinery to its new home in Wanaka. Dunedin's Ocho Chocolate Factory now has a robust marketing and financial plan to steer the company back into the black. And about 25 riders took part in the annual Tweed Ride at the weekend as part of the city's Heritage Festival. Kia ora, good evening, I'm Simon Anderson. We begin with breaking news of an apparent chemical spill at Dunedin Hospital, which has closed part of Cumberland Street. Expect delays on Dunedin's one-way system heading north. Witnesses say fire alarms are blaring at the hospital and staff there report a strong chemical smell in the area. A police spokeswoman says Fire and Emergency New Zealand told them about a potential issue involving chemicals at the hospital. An ODT photographer at the scene says Cumberland Street is blocked off at the intersection with Hanover Street, and an incident station has been set up near the entrance to the oncology unit. There were 4 fire appliances and several police cars at the scene. Drivers on 12 trucks transporting a collection of vintage Caterpillar earth-moving machinery described their road trip from a South Canterbury farm to Wanaka yesterday morning as a dream run. The convoy set off from Waio near Hamner Springs on Saturday and had just one puncture along the way.
Big wheels keep on turning all the way from Waio to Wanaka.
Oh, it was a great trip. It all went to plan. It's good when the plan comes off. It went smoothly, and it was a big exercise. It's a lot of trucks and some pretty heavy equipment. A lot of it didn't go. A lot of it we had to crane on. We had a really good team of mechanics.
Wheels at Wanaka General Manager Alan Dippy purchased and organised the transportation of this collection, and says the hardest part was loading the machinery onto the trucks, as some of the items weighed around 20 tonne. Most of the collection was originally from a now defunct museum in Rotorua. Alan Dippy says he heard about the collection through the grapevine and thought it would make a great addition to his collection of vintage tractors and earth-moving equipment. He says the move went smoothly.
Good team-building exercise, actually. We had to work as a team to get it done. And we got it done, and we got it all back to Wanaka without too many issues, without any really major ones. About
half of the Caterpillars are in working order, but Dippy says some will need a bit of tickling to get going, and hopefully in time for the next Wheels at Wanaka show, Easter 2021. In Wanaka, The South Today.
5 police officers were acknowledged in Queenstown recently on Police Remembrance Day. Officers, relatives and members of the public filed into church to remember colleagues. Constables Matthew Hargreaves and Alexandra Cully were recognised for their life-saving efforts on May 15th, with both receiving District Commander commendations. Queenstown Detective Grant Miller was recognised for 28 years service. Detective Alan Lee of Wanaka was also presented a service award for his 21-year career. Detective Sergeant Brian Cameron was also acknowledged on his last day in Queenstown after 12 years. The awards followed a service to remember the 94 police and traffic officers killed while on duty or who died as a result of police duties, and 8 serving or former staff who died in the past year. Dunedin's Ocho Chocolate Factory now has a robust marketing and financial plan to steer the company back into the black. That's what 50 shareholders were told at a meeting on Saturday after the Kraft Chocolate Company reported a loss of almost $500,000.
Ocho Chairman Jim O'Malley explaining to shareholders his blueprint on how to get their boutique chocolate factory out of the red. This comes after shareholders learned their factory had a decline in total equity from just over $2 million to under $1.5 million since funds were first raised 2 years ago. The company has been struggling with production and sales since it moved into its new showrooms at the beginning of this year.
We need to be more positive about what things are going to happen than concentrating on the negative. Out of everything bad, a little good comes, and the good that's come out of this is the new premises.
Shareholder Rachel Elder says many of the investors had bought into Ocho chocolate after Dunedin's Cadbury factory closed its doors 2 years ago with a loss of over 300 jobs. O'Malley says the initial problems with the factory have been rectified and the company has about $60,000 worth of stock ready for the important Christmas period. Elder says initiatives such as Ocho can help the city raise its employment numbers.
We need diverse economy in Dunedin, and we'd lost, I think, 5,700 manufacturing and production jobs in Dunedin in the last 30 years. If we can bring back boutique, high-end manufacturing jobs, then we've got a diverse economy for everyone.
Miller agrees, saying Ocho's success can reflect on the whole city.
We need to make Dunedin quite a viable city. It is a very viable now. It needs to be known as one. And so that was why I wanted to make sure that this local product stayed where it was.
O'Malley says they've contracted a new distributor and he's forecasting a profit of over $400,000 for the next financial year. In Dunedin, the South Today.
Trainee pilots on a flying visit to Dunedin Airport impressed a group of Otago schoolchildren keen to see what the Royal New Zealand Air Force is all about, showing youngsters highways to the danger zone. A group of about 20 Year 12 and 13 pupils gathered at the mainland air hangar on Saturday, where they met 9 RNZAF trainees from Oakia who are taking part in Exercise Wise Owl. 14th Squadron Leader Gareth Russell says the Air Force takes trainee pilots away from their home airfield to broaden their experience. Russell says in Dunedin they were getting experience flying in a colder climate. Exercise Wise Owl is based in Dunedin Airport and is set to run until October 4th. About 25 riders took part in the leisurely ride through Dunedin on Sunday morning as part of the city's Heritage Festival program. Named the Tweed Ride, the cycle trip began at the historic South Dunedin Gasworks and finished at the University Clock Tower.
Having ridden their bicycles in style from Dunedin's Gasworks to the University of Otago, these tweed-wearing cyclists are taking part in this year's Tweed Run, now an annual event and tied in with Dunedin's Heritage Festival program. Southern Heritage Trust founding trustee Anne Barsby says the chosen route makes good use of the safety provided by cycle paths.
They're not crossing too many dangerous roads, they're not doing that. And it's leisurely and it's great fun. And they stop at interesting points en route, and they're stopping this time at the railway station for a photo shoot.
The bike trip is now in its 4th year and always ties in with the historic gasworks built in South Dunedin in 1863. This year the Heritage Ride also celebrates 150 years since the first bicycle was ridden in Dunedin back in 1869.
But it always starts at the gasworks, and I don't know if there are any penny farthings from Oamaru this year, but there have been in the past.
Lovely.
Yes.
Right on.
And anybody can join.
It's not a race.
No, it's not a race. It's a flat, leisurely ride. Last year they went down to Ravensbourne.
Barsby says the annual ride is one of 8 events in the Heritage Festival program. Other events included a children's treasure hunt, a heritage walk of university buildings, and a walk along the original shoreline of 1865, which crosses where the Queen's Gardens now stand.
So we do all sorts of things.
Yep.
So Dunedin's heritage is particularly important.
Absolutely.
Creating more awareness and value, and let's celebrate it.
And, just in case you didn't know, tweed is a rough fabric woven from wool and considered an icon of traditional Scottish and Irish clothing. In Dunedin, the South Today.
Still to come on the South Today. We investigate an historic house at St Clair which has undergone a transformation, and we chat with departing Dunedin Mayor Dave Cull about cycle lanes. See you after the break.
Miller's Flat Bakery, proudly opening this Labour weekend after a long labour of love. The Restoration Trust has brought back to life this historic part of the main Central Otago transport route. Come see the only wood-fired bakery oven in New Zealand. Turn off at the Miller's Flat Blue Bridge and bring the whole family to enjoy some tasty fresh baked goods the old-fashioned way, before electricity. That's the Millers Flat Bakery opening Labour weekend.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
Garrador Dunedin, delivering quality stylish garage doors in Dunedin for over 17 years. New doors, replacement doors and maintenance are all part of Garrador's quality service. Garrador Dunedin offers a full range of modern quality doors to suit any home. Come visit the team.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
My key message is positive action, and I believe I have the leadership maturity to take this city forward to a brighter future. I have clearly spelled out how I will use values and culture to get everybody working for Dunedin instead of against each other. I'm Jules Raddick, and I want to represent you as Mayor.
If you're suffering from sciatica, lower back pain, hips and pelvis and knees, this technique will work wonders for you. The energy flow is transmitting through the muscles. Come and see Sunny Chin.
No mai anō, welcome back. Wayne Olsen, QSM, a former Dunedin police sergeant, died unexpectedly at Dunedin Hospital Intensive Care Unit on Sunday. He was 71. A long-serving police officer and dog handler, he was based for some time at the South Dunedin Police Station and was heavily involved in community activities. After retiring from the police, he held a senior role in the Dunedin courthouse security system for some time. Mr. Olsen was awarded his QSM for community service in 1998. Two former University of Otago students have returned to Dunedin and restored a large, run-down stately home in the suburb of St Clair back into a comfortable family home. Built in 1906, the house had gradually fallen into disrepair after being converted into flats about 80 years ago.
This grand old home in Dunedin's St Clair is now back to its former glory, thanks to the hard work and dedication by a couple who moved back to Dunedin after more than 30 years in Auckland.
What we've done is we've basically really refreshed everything. There's new wiring, new plumbing, new roof, replastered most of the rooms in some form. Basically it was in that type of state, it really wasn't habitable.
It took a team of more than 85 tradesmen over a year to restore the house, which had become increasingly run down after being converted into flats about 80 years ago, with the house being carved up into 8 bedrooms, 5 bathrooms, 3 kitchens and 2 front doors. The house was originally home for Charles Shiel, a self-made businessman from Ireland who arrived with virtually nothing and went on to own one of the largest brickworks in Otago.
Well, it was the Shiel, one of the Shiel brothers had the house. They were one of the main brick suppliers to Dunedin at the turn of the century. That's where they made their money.
Not all of the house's original features could be saved, and some had to be replaced with modern copies. but as authentically as possible.
Sometimes we've lost some features, but other times we've gained some. So we've replaced a lot of the windows. We've replaced, and we've got some new stained glass windows. However, they're done from old glass, so they fit and they look correct.
Cleary says the house is well positioned to enjoy both the sunlight and scenery of St Clair.
So we're glad we're shifted in now and enjoying the house, enjoying the aspect of the house in terms of the amount of sun it gets and the views. Of course, the views are spectacular up here. And you're down the end of a cul-de-sac, so you don't get a lot of through traffic, which is really lovely.
In Dunedin, the South Today.
Outgoing Dunedin Mayor Dave Cull was interviewed recently by Otago Daily Times senior reporter Chris Morris. The three-term mayor says Dunedin's controversial cycleways were created in response to both a community demand and a nationwide push driven by then Prime Minister John Key.
The cycleway development I'm really pleased with, but I have to acknowledge that that's in the context of A, a huge community demand, and B, a nationwide push to increase the number of cycleways. It was Prime Minister John Key who pushed it nationally, so it was part of a bigger picture.
The critics of cycleways don't seem to acknowledge that context, that demand locally, and as you say, the national kicking along of the need for these things.
And paying for it, because a good amount of what we've got is being paid for by NZTA. We had year after year where the biggest subject area, if you like, was cycleway provision, whether it was off-road or on-road or for tourists or for commuters. We just got dozens and dozens. So the demand is definitely there and still there.
The fact that they've become such a contentious issue for some people, do you think that the council needs to wear some of that because of the mistakes it made?
Probably to some extent, yeah, because it's easy to pick up on the wasted expense of having to redo things. But I would point out that the most contentious part has been the apparent displacement of car parking, and that's on the state highway, and that's an NZTA project that we have actually no say in. So, but it's easy for the critics to conflate those, the various issues and the responsibilities. But it does seem to me that the fact that some car parks were displaced and moved was the main reason why some people are so opposed to cycleways, and actually they're two different issues.
And you can see more of the interview with the Mayor on odt.co.nz and Channel 39. After the break on the South Today, we meet a Palmerston family who are raising awareness for a serious illness, and we look at the weather for the middle of the working week. See you soon.
Miller's Flat Bakery, proudly opening this Labour weekend after a long labour of love. The Restoration Trust has brought back to life this historic part of the main Central Otago transport route. Come see the only wood-fired bakery oven in New Zealand. Turn off at the Miller's Flat Blue Bridge and bring the whole family to enjoy some tasty fresh baked goods the old-fashioned way, before electricity. That's the Miller's Flat Bakery opening Labour weekend.
Step into Ross Cafe, located at Ross Home in North East Valley. We have a great range of hot and cold food, friendly service and a warm atmosphere that you are sure to enjoy. We look forward to serving you soon at Ross Cafe.
At Alex Campbell Menswear, we bring you the best value. We have bought a massive selection of moleskins and we're passing on the savings to you. Buy one pair, save $25. Buy two, save $60, and we have a great deal on our knitwear. Look at it all. 25% off all our knitwear. And to go with the knitwear, what about a nice warm shirt? These are 25% off too. And while we're doing the 25% off, what about on the jackets? 25% off them as well.
Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
So check us out for massive savings this winter.
Hi, kia ora. I'm Tony Hunter and I'm running for the Otago Regional Council. I've been a school principal here for 20 years and want the next generation to enjoy the quality of life I've experienced here in Otago. My particular areas of interest are water quality, transport, South Dunedin and Port Otago. Let's spend rates wisely and push central government to come to the party too. I'll bring common sense and open communication to the ORC. Vote Tony Hunter for the Otago Regional Council.
When it's time to say goodbye to your pet, Heaven Sent Pet Cremations are here to help you through this difficult experience. Call Heaven Sent Pet Cremations today for their care and guidance. Phone 489-2274. If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
Hi, I'm Doug Hall. I'm standing for council in this election. I have been a councillor for the past 6 years. If I am elected in the next 3 years, I hope to push more in recycling and a circular economy for the waste of Dunedin City. My company recycled 35,000 tonne of product heading for the landfill in the last 12 months into roading, footpaths and construction industry. And if I get elected, I would be pushing to maximise the amount of recycling and minimise the amount to the landfill. I ask for your vote, Doug Hall, number 1. Thank you.
You've seen us in the street, now find us online. Check out shopon.org.nz. We have all sorts of treasures, from retro and vintage clothing to antiques, homewares and accessories. New items added every week. We're open 24/7.
Thanks for staying with us. A North Otago family is making the steep climb to the 343-metre summit of Poketapu every day this month to raise money and awareness for cystic fibrosis. Palmerston woman Hannah Hutchison, whose 10-year-old daughter Sophie has the condition, says the idea came from her sister.
Putting their best feet forward to raise awareness of cystic fibrosis.
There'll be me and Matt and my sister Chelsea and her husband Aaron. We'll all be going up once a day for the 31 days.
Hannah and Matt's daughter Sophie has CF, which is the motivation behind their efforts, and the Palmerston-based pair say she'll join them at times.
I think that some days might be a bit slow, but we'll get there.
Yeah, no, it'll be good. Really looking forward to it. It's going to be hard to fit it in around work and stuff, but we'll get it done. We've got friends and family to support us along the way, so yeah, we've got plenty of backup, so really looking forward to the challenge.
Hannah says it was her sister Chelsea's idea to suggest the 31 climbs in 31 days hike to the Sir John Mackenzie Monument. She says it's essential people with cystic fibrosis get exercise, despite it being tough at times. Cystic fibrosis primarily affects the lungs, but can also damage other major organs. The two couples have launched Facebook and Give a Little pages called 31 Climbs in 31 Days to fundraise for Breath for CF Otago. In Palmerston, the South Today.
And now recapping tonight's top stories on the South Today. A 12-truck convoy moved hundreds of tonnes of vintage machinery to its new home in Wanaka. Dunedin's Ocho Chocolate Factory now has a robust marketing and financial plan to steer the company back into the black. And about 25 riders took part in the annual Tweed Ride at the weekend as part of the city's Heritage Festival. And now a look at what's happening in tomorrow's ODT. We welcome Craig Page. Kia ora, Craig.
Good evening. Yeah, we've got more on the breaking news this afternoon. A chemical spill at Dunedin Hospital, blocking Cumberland Street, which, as you can imagine, at 5 o'clock is causing a bit of chaos around town. Lots of traffic jams everywhere at the moment. 3 people have been treated at the scene for inhalation from chemicals. Yeah, lots going on down there at the moment. Fire service still in attendance as well, so we'll have up to date throughout the evening on our website and full wrap in tomorrow's paper of what's happened. We've also got a pretty sad story of a Waka man, John Mitchell. He died back in 2007, 2 days after visiting his local GP with problems. He was diagnosed at the time with having a bit of a bug and sent home. but a coroner's investigation into his death found that he actually received inadequate medical care by his GP. Okay. He had a substantial hernia and other associated problems and died of blood poisoning. So yeah, should have immediately been admitted to hospital, the coroner's found. We've talked to his wife Christine, who, as you can imagine, still pretty upset about the whole thing. No anger towards the doctor though, and really just hopes that this sort of thing doesn't happen again, wants to ensure that it doesn't. So yeah, interesting reading there. Fresh food pages as well. We've got a new columnist, food and health coach Jamalia Edwards on board. Her first column tomorrow. Some will know her as the Farmers Market chef, but she's got a pretty strong philosophy on food and particularly healthy eating, no sugar, so shy away from that. She's provided with a couple of interesting recipes too, so well worth a pick up tomorrow and a read. And of course Rugby World Cup, New Zealand's interest reignites at the Cup with the All Blacks up again tomorrow against Canada, finally. It seems a long time since they played their first game. And we're having a look at that and what the All Blacks hope to get out of it. I think most people expect a comfortable win, although you never know in this tournament. But I guess getting through without any injuries, and hopefully our 10 and 15 get cohesive and before we take on the big guns. So
Great, Craig.
Thank you.
Time now for a look at the weather.
Tonight's weather proudly brought to you by Mole Map.
Beginning with the southern view, reflections in an octagon fountain of a cruise ship shuttle bus, with the first cruise ship of the season arriving today. Looking at the situation, another day of strong, very cold southwesterly airflow ahead tomorrow, easing a little on Thursday. Starting off at the northwest of the South Island, Greymouth and Westport can expect grey skies, showers and 13 degrees. Across to the northeast, where Nelson and Blenheim are due for grey skies and 16 degrees. Moving down to Canterbury, Kaikoura, you're due for rain and 13. Christchurch and Ashburton, you should expect showers and 11 degrees. Looking at what's in store for the southern towns, you can all expect strong southwesterlies and showers. The Catlins, Balclutha and Gore should all reach 8 degrees. Lumsden heads for 7. Travelling westwards to the Central Lakes region, most across this area can expect light southwesterlies and it's mostly fine. Queenstown and Wanaka should reach 8. Alexandria, you're aiming for 10 degrees, and Te Anau, you're set for showers and 8 degrees. Up to the northern towns, Timaru and Awamaru can look forward to moderate southwesterlies, showers clearing and 9 degrees. It should be slightly nicer further inland. Twizel and Amadama are for moderate southwesterlies and becoming fine with 9 degrees for you both. In Dunedin, showers tonight with cold southwesterlies freshening with an overnight low of 6 degrees. Mostly cloudy tomorrow with frequent showers and strong, blustery, very cold southwesterlies. Planned for a high of 9 and a low of 5. Mostly cloudy on Thursday with a few light showers possible during the morning, but improving in the afternoon with a high of 8 and a low of 4. And in Invercargill, showers tonight with gusty southwesterlies and an overnight low of 5. Wintry showers tomorrow could bring hail and sleet, but clearing late in the day, aiming for a high of 8 and a low of 4. Mostly cloudy and cold on Thursday with moderate to fresh westerly winds, a high of 9 and an overnight low of 4. That's the news this Tuesday. For the latest news from the southern region, head online to odt.co.nz and follow Channel 39 on Facebook and YouTube. Have a great evening. Ka kite anō.
This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.